Recording is on.
So we are back to for the continuation of the training. We are talking about leading a project team. One of those tools you are going to use to lead a project team is to create a collaborative project team environment. Remember when we talk about collaboration, a collaborative project team environment, that means the environment in which your project teams are working, it should be the one that allow for them to cooperate and work together, unite to work together, jointly work together, pull yourself together. I mean, to work jointly with other to achieve specific tasks, to achieve a common goal. You can say a collaboration is a kind of partnership, a union, the act of producing or making things happen. And when you define that in a team setting, it means that you are trying is a team that is working in partnership in a union so that they can produce a better outcome. What I want to do, they want to create an output, they want to create a deliverable, they want to create the increment in their project. Not only just creating increment or creating deliverable or starting and finishing project, they want to start well and finish well. Finishing well that they are producing a kind of product that will be in alignment with the organization's strategic objectives. They are creating a project that will help them to meet the project objectives. They will be able to create a project whereby they will deliver the deliverable on time, on budget, with a great quality, and they are able to do the right work. They don't go outside the scope. So there are a lot of things that can help a team member to collaborate. Very, very important. And that is what they want you to know as a project manager. How do you create a collaborative environment for your team member so that the outcome of the project can be according to what you are planning? See, when I say where and how the team work, can you see? We talk about collocation before, but say he say if possible, it is the best. If your team member are working in the same geographical area, it has a greater advantage than when they are scattered across the whole globe or we are geographically located. Because I can see you face to face. If there's something I want to tell you, I don't need to be using a complex technology to communicate to you. I can distribute information to you quickly and you can respond to me instantly. It saves time. You see, we can relate together. In fact, we can relate together in such a way that we can form a team that is so solid. So you should need to consider where and how the team will work. Where will they work and how the team will work? Collocation. There are factors in environment and location to team performance. The environment you are working and the location, there are some factors that can affect them that can in terms of team performance. There are some environment they are working or location they are working, it can impact negatively or positively on their performance. It is your duty to look at that critically and find a way out of it so that their environment and their location will not limit their performance, will not erode their performance. Rather, it should help them to what? Improve their performance, because your project is about performance. Your project is about work. Your project is about activities. Your project is about deliverable. Your project is about doing activities that will deliver quality outcome. Then you must foster meaningful interaction to support autonomy. We are interacting, meaningful. We are cordial. We are collaborating. We are interacting in a positive way. Even though you are giving autonomous rights, it does not still affect it. Even though you can do things, but you know what will you do that will not be against the project charter. Then you respect agreed team working hour and practices. This one can be found under the ground rules. Every team has a ground rule. The rule that guide them about the project. about how to work as a team to accomplish their tasks. If you say we are going to work for 8 hours today, we have to follow that rule. We have to respect agreed team, except that there's a clause that say, okay, if there's a need for us, there's an urgent work to be done that can impact the outcome of our project. If you don't do it now, it can impact it negatively. Then, if you are going to work extra hour, that means you need to factor in, okay, we are going to give you what? Overtime. To support that time, you use extra time you use. Very important. But that is why if you just say, everybody must work now, we are going to extend work. That clause must have been stated in the ground rules so that everybody is aware of it, so that it doesn't catch you unaware. That's how you can lead a team who are happy, who are productive, who are collaborative, who are interactive, who will be able to produce something that will impact positively on the project. Then we also look what they call agile space for hybrid team. Hybrid teams are the team who work in such a way that they combine the traditional way of managing projects and the that one I say plan driven and the change driven together. That's what you see when you see this icon. It means that you are leading a team who are doing a particular project work whereby you are using both methodology. In such a case, you will create a team space that encourages co-location, collaboration, communication, transparency, and visibility. Mark all these things I'm telling you. There's no way you can lead a team that there will not be communication. Once you see communication, one of the tools you can help you to be able to collaborate very well is communication. One of the ways that a team can collaborate together and be able to be a productive team, high productive team, is transparency, is marked as red. Everything the team member are doing is open to everybody. That is why we have what they call information radiator. In a hybrid team, we have what they call Kanban board. That is why that Kanban board. So mark it in exam. What make project work and the team member and the activities and they're working together to be more transparent. That means that everything the team are doing, the goal they want to achieve, increments they want to make in the project, activity they want to perform, everything they want to do in that project setting in terms of the work they are going to do must be very transparent. And one of the tools you can use to make a team member working together to make everything transparent is, example, Kanban board. If you look at the Kanban board or any other board or whiteboard, whereby you are telling them the progress of the project. This is what we plan to do. You put in one column. The next column, this is what the work in progress. You always limit work in progress. This is what we have done. We are doing what we have done partially. This is what we have completed. So that means you make everything transparent. If I have completed something, someone else will not go and start doing such a thing. It will help the organization to have a mindset that we are working like a family. Nothing is hidden. We are on the same page. That's what I mean. No silos manner. Like what something silos manner, whereby everybody just going his own way. You have a scattered team member. They will produce a scattered outcome and will not be alignment with the project objective. There must be visibility. When you see transparency, you see visibility. Kanban board. Ensure private space for those who need to work in solitude. There are some tasks you assign to some of the member that you don't need to be together. So you provide that a space for them because they need to concentrate. They don't need somebody who divert their attention. They don't need somebody who will be making noise. So you do that. Then work information management system. This is very important. The work information management system. You are doing the work of the project. While you are doing the work of the project, there are a lot of information that you need to flow. You understand me? There are some of the data you need to generate. There are some data you need to process to become information. There are some documents you need to share. All those documents, information, data elements, artifacts, and outcomes, increments. How do you store them? How do you gather them? How do you integrate them to your project work? How do you share the project data? Gather the project data, integrate the project data, share the project data. That's what I mean by what? Project information system, management information system. How do you, the data you are process, or the information, or the data you gather, how do you integrate it? How do you share the data? How do you ensure consistency in the collection and reporting? It's very important. There must be consistency of that data gathering, data integration, data sharing, so that if I'm using a data, it's common to everybody. I know data A, data B, data C. So if I want to use data B, I know where I'll get it. When I'm reporting, our reporting should be consistent. When I'm making use of data, it should be consistent. When I'm making of information, it should be consistent. The information, the data A, I must not, I want to use data A, I must not make mistake of using data C. So there must be a marker to say, okay, this data is used for these activities. There must be what they call version control. If the data is no longer reliable, you can say this one is version 1, another is version 2, the information is version 3. Version 1, version 2, we are already move it out of the way. Version 3 is the present one now. So how do you gather information? How do you gather data? How do you integrate data? How do you share data? It means that how do you store that data? If I want to retrieve the data, how do I get it? We call it project management information system. The information, how do you make use of information in a consistent way and also use it to make reports? He said you can use Microsoft project or similar application to do that. That's why you use Microsoft project to do what? To schedule your project. It's a good tools to help a project manager and a team to schedule their project. They are what they call artifact management system. You see, when you see project management information system, you use this one in traditional project management, like a waterfall, plan driven. But when you are talking about change driven, most of the time they talk about artifacts management system. That artifact is what you produce, the data, the increment, the deliverable. So how do you store it? Because you may be the increment you make in the adaptive method. For example, you want to create an application. The application is divided into modules. You have finished one modules. Where do you place that modules? When you finish the second module, where do you place it? When you finish the third module, there are different rank increment. After you finish the whole module, maybe it's about 10 modules. How do you integrate it? How do you share it? So they are now comparing the two. How do you store the information? How do you maintain the project artifacts? You can also use the tools this icon mean tools. You can use Microsoft projects to store. You can use Microsoft SharePoint. Some of us will know about SharePoint, whereby it's help us to be able to interact, share idea, communicate together, working as a collaborative. It's a collaborative team and collaborative tools to collaborate within our projects. You can use Google Drive. So mark all these things down. What are the importance of artifacts? Artifacts. Artifacts enable reconstruction of the history of the project and to benefit the other project. You know, I talk about the historical information and lesson learned. Historical information is just like we have produced certain product before. I have managed a project before. I can look at the project I've done in the past. It looks like the project I'm doing now. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. What I need to do is that there's something that I've done that project that can affect this project that I don't need to even stress myself because they are almost similar. So that's why all the information and the data about your previous project, your cost analysis, your time schedule, there are some data, information, record, document. When you finish your project, don't throw them away. You need to store it in your database so that if you are doing a similar project, go back to that place and look and search your database and see what are the information that can help me to do the present project. The same way, project team creates, It is the project team that creates artifacts. Project team, they are the one who do the work of the project. So they create the increment, they create the document, they create the deliverable, they create the outcome. And project team creates those things I have mentioned and maintain many artifacts during the life of a project. That's what they call lesson learned or historical information. Very important. Now, in this one, they are calling artifacts. In the waterfall, they call it deliverables. Deliverable can be document, it can be partial work, it can be partial outcome, it can be part of the building, it can be first floor of a building, all those things. But for adaptive, you call it artifacts. So you should be able to have what they call information storage and distribution good practices. When you store information, how do you arrange it in your database or wherever you store it so that everybody can have access to it? Or you can give a right. Sometimes when you want to share information with the people, your team member, there are some information that the other team member will not have right to. You can do access control. This is your level of access. This is your level of access. You give a password. You cannot go beyond this. So in your project management too, in your project management, when you're managing your project, when you're leading the project, you need to factor all these things. In fact, what you are doing in a project, you share a lot of document, share a lot of information, artifacts. Do you understand me? Therefore, you must select an accessible location, can be accessible to everybody. Nobody should be denied, except that if you are not given a right in a particular area, that means that information there will not assist you to do the work of your project. So information storage and distribution should be a good practice in your project. That make it to be a creative, innovative, and a stakeholder, I mean a project manager that can think ahead. So that when you are looking for information, you not take about 10 hours to look for it. You can use information radiator to make work visible. Can anybody tell me example of a information radiator? I mentioned in this course. He said use information radiator to make work visible, to make work clear to everybody. Nobody will put
Kanban,
Kanban board or whiteboard or any
whiteboard.
board or white or you can call it white wall, paint it wall, and whatever you want to do, you can put a sticker, put a stick, you stick it with paper, sticker paper, and write something small, 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 so that I can get everybody. So everything we are doing is open to everybody. The storage and distribution system should match the complexity of the project. When you are doing your storage system, information storage and distribution system, look at the project you are doing. Is it a complex project or simple project? In fact, you need to match it with your project type. Very important. Then use a cloud-based system for larger projects, especially if a team member are geographically located. Most of the company now they are going cloud. Your information is in cloud now. You have a small space. You maybe from the people the provider, the cloud provider, so I can put information or data on the cloud so that I can have access to it. So that's what they are saying here now. All those things must be in place because it will make you to be able to facilitate your team member and be able to be able to create a high performing team member or team. Standardized artifacts. What to include? Remember when I say artifact here, what you produce, information you gathering, information storage, information processing, information retrieval. What are the standard? That should be in a standardized artifact. What should be included? A simple way to produce and control the document. Abi, you produce the document, you control it. You have access rights to people who are going to use it. You know what I mean? We're talking about a database. Access rights, give somebody right, and you need to have a what do you call it, password before you can standardize format and template. You create a format that is standard, and you can create a template too. Template helps you in your project. Another thing you need to do, there's a template for it. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Go to the template and see. Just remove the data there and put your present data into it. It will fit. It saves your time, it saves your energy. It makes you to have a standard way of doing things. Template. There must be a structured process for the review and the approval of document. The document, there's some document that most of the time when you are doing your project, you need to review the document. There are some document that you no longer need. It is through the review you know that we don't need this one. This one we need it in the future project. You review the document to make sure that you have what information that are still relevant that you can use for your project work. Then most of the document before you can store it, you need to approve. There must be approval. Approval when you are moving it in, approval when you are moving it out, approval when you are trying to discard it, approval if anybody is going to use it, that this version, this document, you are the one collecting it, sign it. It's very important because if somebody collect it and go and just put it somewhere, when we are now looking for it and there's a important information there or in that document, we will not be able to see that it will impede our project work. There must be a version control and security of that artifact or information or document you have stored. Version control. You know the version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4. And you should also keep those documents secure. There are some documents that should not be open to other person. There are documents that you should not allow the third party to see. There's a document that you have to put security in it because you don't want your competitor to see it. It can damage your project. In fact, in your organization, there are some documents that not everybody must see for security reason. That is why you need to implement a technology that is not porous, a technology that can allow you to secure your information. Then make sure that those standardized artifacts that it must be timely distributed. The document should be timely distributed. Whenever I need a document that will assist me in doing the work that you have assigned to me, and I need it now, now, now. There must be a way I can automate it in such a way that I can have access to it on time. Especially that the one that is common to everybody. There's no restriction because it's going to assist you to do your project. So this is how you do your project. When you are leading your team member, there are some information and data and document that need to be shared to the stakeholder, to the sponsor, to the team member, to the outside stakeholder, to the internal stakeholder. All those information must be sometimes when they need it urgently, you must be able to retrieve them. Ability to store, ability to retrieve, ability to discard, ability to make sure that those document, there are some important document you need to keep secure. Very important. Then all these artifacts you need to tailor them. Let's look at an example of artifacts. If you are very careful, if you are following me in this course, you know that I'm making sure that everything is running smoothly. If you look at this icon, can you see? It's showing what? Who know this icon? What does it represent in this course? Who can tell us this icon?
Waterfall.
Predictive approach.
The predictive approach or waterfall methodology or traditional way of managing projects. If you look at this one, it's talking about adaptive or incremental or iterative. And you also consider this one says you are using both. When you are creating artifacts in this approach, we call it project management plan. It's an artifact. Anything you produce in your project to allow you to do your work very well, increment, document, physical increment, all that thing. Project management is an artifact. Project charter is an artifact. Everybody know about project charter. Who can help us to define project charter?
Approved project plan.
No, project charter, project charter, project charter. Project
It's the
charter,
document that gives power to the
yes,
project manager to commence the project.
to use the organizational resources to do the work of the project. It is a document that authorizes a project. It's like a roadmap. What are we going to do in this project? In a high level manner. When I say high level in project management, high level mean what? When I say high level, summarize level. All the summary. What will be the total project cost? What is the duration of the project in high level? What is the quality of the project? What are the constraints and challenges we are going to have in the project? Who are going to be the key stakeholder? Who is the project manager that have been assigned to the project? What is the right and authority of the project manager? And what authorized the project? That's the project charter. That one you created it in the project. It's an artifact. It must be made available whenever it is needed. It contains the objectives of the project. limitation of the project, constraint of the project, assumption of the project, other important information of the project are there. Look at the scope baseline. Can you see? That's what we're trying to say, that a scope baseline. Who can tell about scope baseline? When you say a scope baseline, what does it mean? Scope baseline.
Approved scope.
Approve scope.
Approved scope. So that anything you are going to be doing when you are managing your project, you are going to look it, you are going to compare with it. We have approved this is what we are going to do. This is the work we are going to do in this project. When I'm not doing the work, like you are leading a team member who are doing the work now. So whatever they are going to do, you must match it with that scope. Because you have approved it, the stakeholders and all the team member and they have append their signature, they have approved it. Therefore, that's the work you must do. Who can tell me the component of scope baseline? Scope, ba- scope baseline has three components. I'll keep on repeating in this course because they are the potential area you can see question. What are the components of scope baseline? It's in my brain. I never forgot since I learned it. And I saw it in the exam too. And I just yanked the thing back, fall into my hand. Who can tell me in this course what are the components of scope baseline? There are three things that make up of a scope baseline. Who can tell me? Ah, don't fall my hand. Oh.
Work breakdown structure. WBS.
Yes, correct. Two. Quick, quick. Two. You don't know, tell us. Okay. Project scope statement. Number three, WBS dictionary. Don't forget it too. Project scope statement, number one. Work breakdown structure, number two. Number three, WBS dictionary. I told you in a WBS dictionary that if I assign work to you, and I'm not in town, I'm a project manager, I assign work to my team member. If you don't know about how you are going to do the work of the project, or the work I assigned to you, who is going to do it, how it's going to be done, what the capacity of the person going to do, when must you start it, when must you close it, everything is defined in that document. If I say create a door for me, you are going to fix the whole door in this floor. It will give you the dimension of that floor, the type of door, when you are starting it, when you are going to end it, what the color you are going to use to paint it. You understand me? Who is going to do it? What are the costs of that? Everything is in what? You have described it in the WBA dictionary. That means that even if I'm not around, the thing that will guide you to do that work according to how it has been approved, it is in that document. So that's why I say your scope baseline consists of what? Scope statement. If you look at the project scope statement, it contains the scope and the work of the project. It contains the boundary, what you should not do, what you should do. It contains constraint and the restriction and the assumption. It contains the delivery we are going to deliver. But when you are doing it, you don't do another thing outside it. And you cannot say you are doing a project. You have to break it down to what? Smaller component so that you can assign resources to them and can be able to divide it to the smallest activities. The same thing is the artifacts. Schedule baseline. We have cost baseline. We also have the subsidiary project management plan. All the plan you do in the knowledge area, all the schedule management plan, cost management plan, resource management plan, risk management plan. All those plans they are called subsidiary project management. All those plans that will help you to be able to do those things are called subsidiary. So and we also know that scope baseline, schedule baseline, and cost baseline are subsidiary of project management plan. Now let's look at the cost baseline. When I say cost baseline, now can you tell me cost baseline? I want to ask question now. Cost baseline. What is cost baseline? You can tell me. I'm drawing your attention to the important area. What is cost baseline? What are the three? What are the constituents? Yeah. Oh yeah. Now, what is cost baseline? If you are asked in exam,
It summarizes the cost of the project.
No, no, that's not cost baseline. Baseline, cost baseline. Every spending you are going to make must align with the cost. Okay, you are partially right. All the list of the cost of the activities, the items, and every spending in your project, which have been approved, that we are going to do the digging, we are going to use 1 million. We are going to do the painting. We are going to say all the costs. We list it together, and the stakeholder agree that this is what we are going to spend, and they now approve it. They call it a cost baseline, including what? Including other thing. Let me show you one diagram here. Because this exam you are doing, you need to understand what I'm teaching you to pass it. I want to show you something now. Are you seeing something on the? Are you seeing the screen? Hello. Can you tell me
Hello,
what are you seeing on the screen? Just tell me what you are seeing.
determine budget, tools and techniques.
Look at this thing very well, oh. Well, I deliberately bring this out for you. It's not part of this one. I've told you before, but I didn't show you the diagram. Your cost baseline is an approved budget that must guide you when you are executing your work, the work of the project. So you are now leading a team who are doing the work of the project, and you have done the cost estimate of all the activities, equipment you are going to use, caterpillar you are going to use. They now ask you in exam, what's the cost baseline? Let me explain to you now. You are doing the work, it's called activities. The work you are going to do, can you see? You start from number one here, can you see? Activities. Through the WBX, you break down the work into smaller units called activities. But remember the activities, you are going to assign resources. Somebody is going to do the work. They are going to use tools to do it. They are going to use maybe instrument to do it. You are going to be paid for it. So that's why you have to divide your project into smaller units. By dividing into smaller units, you can be able to assign resources to them. Human resources and non-human resources. That is activities. When you now roll up the activities to, you now roll it up to work packages. What I mean by work packages now, when you are doing foundation of a building, you know you have a lot of activities. There are a lot of activities in that foundation. You break down the work and activities to small units. Can somebody, that's a noise there. Somebody so you have to roll up the activities to work package. All the activities you are going to do, eh, you are going to you are going to add the money, the expenses, the resources you use in terms of money, of course, add them together. So can I say that a foundation, when you add the cost of the activities you use to do all the elements in that foundation, when you add them together, eh, we form what they call work packages. You cannot say a foundation is a package. But that package, which is a foundation, you divide the work into smaller units. Remember WBX activities. So all the money you spend for all the activities of the work you do in the foundation, when you add it together, we call it what? Work packages. Can you see? Digging or putting iron or laying block or this is money you spent. When you sum everything together, we give you $100. You call that one work packages. When you roll up the work packages, because you can have more than you can have more than one work packages. You can say package work package one, work package two, work package three. When you sum all the activity to work package and all the other work packages you sum it together, we give you control account. Can you say, let's say one work package, maybe you are building 3 houses. The foundation is work package. Inside that foundation, you are doing many work and it costs you. When you sum everything together, all the money you spend together, one work package. Or you can say the foundation, can say first floor is another work package. All the money you spend together in doing the activities of that first on the first floor, you sum it together. So you can say a foundation is a work package. First floor is a work package. Second floor is a work package. And you sum all those work packages cost together, will give you a control account. You spend 1 million in the foundation, you spend 2 million in the first floor, you spend 3 million in the second floor, you have spent 6 million. That 6 million is, they call it control account. I can say, okay, first floor, foundation, first floor, second floor, all the money you spend together, I can control it. I can know how much you spent. That's what you call control account. I know if anybody asks me as a project manager, how much have you spent so far in the foundation, which is a work package. First floor is a work package. Second floor is work package. That's a control account. I sum the amount together. When I sum everything together, I will now sum it together to become, when I've done all the whole building, maybe first floor, second floor, third floor, I now sum everything together will give me what? Project cost. Can you see? This is your project cost. When you now add project cost to contingency reserve, what I mean by contingency reserve is this one. You know, we have done risk assessment when we are doing our project. You say, when I'm doing my project, there's a strong wind. Strong wind come. I don't know where it come from. It just blow away part of the building, blow away the top of the building. And then when you are doing a risk assessment, you call something contingency reserve. The amount of money you put as a reserve in case this risk I've identified, if it occur, because it's not my fault, it's by nature that thing came. That's why you are doing risk assessment. If that thing occur, how much will it cost me to reduce that thing, that risk, the damage, that wind damage? You call it contingency reserve. Can you see? So you have to add your project cost to the a reserve that you put apart because of a risk upon your project. You call that one contingency reserve. So if you see it in an exam, they say what is a cost baseline? Baseline is what? Your project cost. You don't need to explain all this one. All this one here is your project cost. Your project cost plus the contingency reserve is your cost baseline. Write it down now. Your project cost plus your contingency reserve, the amount of money you set apart to take care of the risk if it occur, is your contingency reserve. When you add that project cost in that contingency reserve, we give you cost baseline. Don't forget to, this is seeing orijo before exam. You are seeing the secret of exam before the exam. Then we write it down now. Project cost plus contingency reserve is my cost baseline. They call it cost baseline because the contingency reserve, you have rights to make use of it. It has been pre-approved. That's why you have done the assessment. Remember, you did the assessment that time. Project manager have access to make use of it. So the project cost and the contingent reserve is the cost baseline. The exam can also ask you, there's a difference between contingency reserve and management reserve. The expenses you incur in your project because you didn't do your project very well is not a risk. It's the one maybe you don't do the what you're supposed to do very well. Risk they call it risk over cost over. I don't know what they normally call that language. Cost you overshadow your budget. Management reserve. If you overuse your budget, you don't have access to this reserve. This kind of reserve, you have to go through a approval method. You are going to make a request for changes that I want to make use of these resources because I have overshadowed my budget. It is the management that will give you this kind of right to have access to it. So in exam, they ask you, project manager have access to contingency reserve because when you are doing your risk assessment, you have included it in your budget. But for the management reserve, the money that has been set aside in case you overuse your budget because not because of a risk. So if you want to make use of this reserve, you have to seek approval from the management. That's what they call it, management reserve. So management have right to say we will give you or not to give you. So you have to do what they call a change control. You have to make a change now in your budget. So it needs to be approved. You have to pass through the integrated change control process, whereby they will evaluate why do you want this reserve. If they know that they assess it, they validate it, they look at it, it's okay, they will approve it. So you don't have access to it until it has been approved. So also know that in exam, that your cost baseline plus the management reserve will be what they call cost budget. So you can see now, they can give you as a equation in exam. What's a cost baseline? Your cost baseline is project plus contingency reserve. They cannot tell me what is your cost budget. Your cost budget is your cost baseline plus management reserve. That is the cost budget. That's what you are seeing here. So they can give you the cost baseline, they can give you the cost budget. They say what's the management reserve. It's like an equation. You say a plus b is equal to, because cost baseline is a, management reserve is b, is equal to 10, and you are given the cost baseline. It's possible for you to be able to make a substitution, or do you transform your equation and know what is your baseline, what's your cost budget, subject of the formula. Remember, I just quickly show you this thing so that you know when I say cost baseline, don't just say cost baseline, you cram it. This is what it means. And go and read it more. So all these things are artifacts. You need to tailor them. But are you seeing my budget? Are you seeing the screen again? You are seeing tailor artifacts, Abi? Are you seeing it?
Yes.
I've switched it now. Then look at this one. When you're in the adaptive method, you can call it project management plan too, but they are what they call product roadmap. That the entire view of your project from beginning to the end is your product roadmap. You have a task box to make everything, the tasks you are going to do, like a Kanban board. All these things are also artifacts. So you tailor it based on the methodology you are using. Experiment. One of the things you do in adaptive or incremental method of your project management, when you are using change driven, you do experiment. Through the experiment, if you make mistake very fast, you quickly correct it. Then product backlog, I've told you, a product backlog is what? Is a prioritized list of items, user story, features and function of the product you want to build, which have been prioritized based on the size, the risk, and also what you are going to evaluate it, the size of it. Then sprint backlog. Sprint backlog is the one that anything you plan to do in a change driven methodology, you first plan what you are going to do. You call it sprint backlog, and say okay, this iteration, this sprint, this work we want to start now. What do we want to do? How are we going to do it? What is the goal of that sprint? How long will it take us? What is the definition of done? That is, when we have finished this project, we know we have done the right thing. All these things are artifacts. What they say, tailor it. So the exam can ask you a question based on waterfall, or can ask you a question on what adaptive. So if you see anything like this one, they are talking about you are managing your project in iterative and incremental method, which is a adaptive method. That is change driven. When you see something like scope baseline, the schedule baseline, yeah, this one is waterfall method, methodology. That is plan driven. Mhm. So those are the main artifacts. Can you see? I also want you to pay attention to this one. It's not necessary that we can finish this slide in a day. But what is most important to you, that understand the little one I've taught you, because I'm supposed to guide you. The pen book is a guide. It's just saying guide you. I'm only one that I'm just trying to, because I know the way I learn PMP. I suffer under it. I fail it once. It pays me. I spend a lot of money. I went second time again. I pass it. Oh, they give me another exam again. So I know what it involves. That's why I'm teaching you. I'm not guiding you. So pay attention to what I'm telling you, because you see them in the exam. Then main artifact, because something you have to know this. What's the meaning of configuration management plan and configuration management system? One is plan, one is system. Remember, when you say configuration management plan, what does it mean? You say project management plan component. Can you see? All the components of a project management plan, including the scope baseline, all the cost baseline, eh? All those plans you make, where do you put them? You say project management plan component. It states how project information and which item will be recorded and updated. There are some artifacts you don't need to record. Or the one you are going to record, how are you going to record them? If that you need to do any kind of update, then when you add another item to another item, you can update your information. How are you going to record it into the plan? How are you going to record it? You can update your plan too. Anytime you want to make a changes in your plan, you have to pass through a change control process. It is through the change control process they are going to approve it that you change your plan. So all those things you update them. So they facilitate consistency of the product or service or result of the project or your operability. All these things together are referred to what? Configuration management plan. How you change your plan if it's necessary. How do you update it? How do you record it? There are information that is used in your project. How do you make sure that everything like your product is consistent, your service is consistent, your outcome is consistent? That's what I mean. You operate the same way. So all these things make up of what? Configuration management plan. Your project management plan component, which states how the item will be recorded, how item will be updated. If it's a physical product, like a product or service or result, and where they are going to store it. That's what I mean. This is what we are seeing here. But the second one is talking about what? Configuration management system, not plan. You say how a project manager, you are the project manager now. How the project manager track project artifact. You can track something. You can track if you are doing the work of the project, you can track the progress. How do you track that artifact, what you produce? How do you monitor it? When you say monitoring, you are monitoring it and tracking it to know that whether you are doing the work according to the project management plan. How do you control the changes to them? You want to make any changes to them. This is what we are doing here. Configuration management system. It's different from this one though. All your project management components, when you're talking about configuration management plan, all the project management components, how the information will be recorded and updated. How do you make sure that those artifacts in the project management plan, they are consistent? But when you come to the communication management system, you as a project manager, how do you track your project artifacts? Whether you are doing the right thing, your progress of your work, how do you monitor it? How do you control it? Control change to them. If you want to make any changes, I cannot just make any changes anyhow. You have to pass through the change control process. This is what you are doing here. You have to get approval before you can make any changes, especially things that are very important. So you have what they call version control. When you say version control, everybody know that one. Anything that you have made use of before, we have approved certain thing. Maybe we are making changes. We are using one item before. The former project management plan, we see that we want to make any changes into that project management plan. Once we make a change to it, that new change is a new version. The one that has fault we are making changing from is another version. How do you manage those versions so that you don't mistake one version to another one? So this is a subset. Now say a version control now is a subset of configuration management. Is a subset of all these two: configuration management plan and the management system. They are subset of it. So this is a subset of configuration management plan related to documents and digital record keeping. When you are keeping your document in digital form, and the document, they are the subset. They call it version control. For each update you make, remember we say we make update. You track your updates. Remember here, you say when you do updates, for each update, once you make an update, that's another control. You have to give it a version, an update one, update two, update three. Not only doing update, you need to give a update number, a new version number, the date it was updated, time. It can be a timestamp. That is automate the date, or the name of the user who made the changes. You are the one who started the changes. Say, okay, we want this thing to be changed. This document must be changed. These are the version control. In your version control, it contains this element. What is the version number? Is it version number 2? Update 2? When was it updated? That's the date. When is a time date? If it is when it is a time date, time stamp, it means that You are using digital record keeping. Your record is automated. So automatically, when it is updated, it will the time will come up. Then who make the changes? Those are the components of the what? Version control. And version control is a subset of what? Configuration management plan and system. So apply version control to all artifacts, especially important ones like the project management plan. That's what we have just done here. We have determined the requirement, what, when, where, who for managing the project artifacts. All what I've described here, how do you manage your project artifacts, your documents, increments, products, deliverable, who did it, when and where, who. Then you validate the project information is kept up to date. Can you see version control? And accessible to all stakeholders. That's what we have just learned here. Are you doing your project like this? That's the most important thing. One of the projects we are doing in Nigeria, we don't follow this standard method. You'll be looking for one information for 2 days. Data for 2 days. Everybody will be held ransom in a ransom way. The project will stop. And the money, when you stop a project for 3 hours, it's not cost effective. So when you put all these things in place, then you are truly and genuinely managing, leading a project that will be successful, a successful one. You are managing a team member who will not do the work under stress, who will do it according to how it was planned. It will be done smoothly and it will produce a better outcome and help you to be able to achieve your project objectives. Then the next thing, remember we are talking about you are leading a team. The next topic is what? How do you empower the team? Empowerment of the team. When you say, you want to empower the people of Nigeria, you remember when you say we want to empower people, we are not saying that. No, let me create a small scenario. I normally go to one of my uncle every time. Anytime I'm broke, I go to him. He give me 5,000. Another day, he will give me 10,000. I will just blow that 10,000 between 3 days or 4 days. But that one is one way. He's empowering me, but that one is a weaker empowerment. The best way to help me is that, my friend, how long will you do keep on collecting 5,000? It will not help you for your life. It will not help you to be able to shape your life. It will not help you to achieve your goal. What actually do you want to learn? Which trade do you want to learn? What do you want me to do for you once and for all to empower you? Maybe you want to learn a trade, you want to go for more education, you want to go and be a farmer. I can give you at a bunch that can you start coming back to me. Then you can now use that thing to benefit yourself and to enrich your goal. What your uncle has done for you there, it has empowered you by giving you huge amount of money. Go and buy this caterpillar. You say you want to be a farmer. Go and buy this caterpillar to be able to till your ground. You not come back again, because that thing, if you are sensible, somebody is sensible, you know how to use that thing and produce money. Even you can even help other people. So the same thing, you need to empower your team. Your team need tools, need information, need data, need a good environment, need facilities, infrastructure to work. And you empower them to do that. If you don't empower them, they will not be able to do. They'll be frustrated. And the outcome of the project will be bad. Your outcome will be low quality. So that's what we're learning here. So look at it, empower team with AI and fluid communication. Each time we are talking about anything good in project management or in a team setting, we only talk about communication, team and communication, collaboration and communication. So in 2016, after years of analyzing interview and data from more than 100 teams, Google researcher found that the driver of effective team performance, can you see, highly performant team. When I'm talking about team performance, I say I'm talking about highly performance man team. Do you understand me? Found that the driver of effective team performance are the group's average level of emotional intelligence (EI) and the high degree of communication between members. That is why you as a project manager, you want to lead your team member, you need to study again, understand what we mean by emotional intelligence, because we are emotional being. You gather emotional being are part of your team, and their emotion can be influenced and can be triggered by one little thing. So that And when it is triggered, it can be so disastrous. So how do you manage it? Including you, how do you manage your emotion? Because if you don't know how to manage it, it will scatter a lot of things and you disturb your project. Then how do you communicate? Effective communication. Very important to your project. So that's one another way you can say that's one. You can use communication to empower your team. You can use emotional intelligence to empower your team, apart from providing infrastructure for them to work. They choose to work. So let's look at it. Part of the empowerment is what? Empowerment, unity, and autonomy. Can you see? What an empowered team is a highly productive team. Empowered team are a team that are working in collaboration. Can you see? If you look at the picture, everybody is laughing. They are satisfied. They love one another. They are working as a team. They have common goal. They are collaborating. They are interacting. You look at their face. They look robust. Eh, you pay them on time when you're supposed to pay them. You know you're going to pay them at the end of the month. Why are you taking to next week? That's empowering. Empower team to feel a sense of ownership of the work. No, if you look at those things, they are laughing, everybody is smiling. It means that that work belongs to them. It's not for only one person. So they want it to succeed. They make decision together. I see. Make decision collaboratively. They share responsibility. If the business fail, it's our responsible. It's everybody. If I fail, it's your. Can you see? This is kind of a team we're talking about. Prioritize team unity. Can you see? They are united. It's very important. When I say you prioritize team, that is very important. First thing, this team must focus on, you must unite to be able to do the projects ahead of us. Prioritize team unity over individual contribution. We are not talking about individual. All of them together unite. Great autonomy to team to show the trust. They trust one another. They can make decision. You can trust them that allow them to make decision. If they make mistake, it's a learning curve, learning thing. They can you learn from your mistake and inspire them, and this one will help them to boost productivity. Highly productive team. You can see. So it's not just gather people together and begin to work with them. So if you don't do what they're supposed to do, you see that a non-highly productive team are the team who are not united. They don't have autonomous power. They are not empowered. So go. Team recognize their power. Yes, you empower them and influence, and as an empowered, cohesive unit, they depend on each other. That's why I call it what? Self-organized team, self-disciplined team, cross-functional team. Don't forget those points. A good team, empowered team, are cross-functional team, self-disciplined team, cross-functional team, a team that are united. They are the team that are the highly productive team that can boost productivity. What are you looking for your project? Increase productivity. So team recognizing their power and influence as an empowered cohesive unit, they depend on each other to make decisions and solve problems to deliver desired value quickly. That means by in that state, they will be able to deliver value that will help them to achieve the organizational objectives or the project objectives. So one of those things you need to also to know when you are talking about what you are talking about empower team. Look at this thing, very important. Empower team, because can you see ability, ethnicity, can you see language. So you have to support your team. We need a support like a support diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity means that you have a lot of people in your team member from different country, different language, background, ethnicity. That's what I mean. How do they not feel like a stranger? I come to work in Ghana, Ghana, a Canadian come to work in Nigeria. Everybody is looking at him as, who is this person? He's not. He feel that it's not safe. So everything should be what you know your team is the diversified team. Therefore, everything that is obtainable for Nigeria, obtainable. What you do for Nigeria with your team, you equally do equally to the other team member. So inclusive also mean what? DEI, I mean inclusive. If you have a physically challenged person in your team, don't use that physical challenge to define him. That's not his definition. It's what he can make. It's part of your team. That physically challenged stage is part of it. Don't say, I cannot eat with team. And this one, you are allowed to discriminate. If your team's like that one, you not achieve anything. That is what this place is talking about. Empower team as a cohesive unit, but respect individual. Respect should be there. The fact that I'm in Nigeria, I'm working in Canada. You respect me. You don't use my skin to define me. Look at my brain. Something is there. That's why I'm your team. You create an environment that acknowledge diversity in a positive way. You can acknowledge diversity in a negative way. Discrimination, that's what it means. They must build mutual trust by what? Following the organization and other relevant standard for what? For the diversity, equity, and inclusion. In fact, it's in our every organization has it. DEI. They are following it. It's a standard. If you don't do it, they can sack it because it's a crime. It's in our constitution too. Supporting trust, moral building and initiative, fostering a collaborative culture, acting and leading with empathy. These are the things you are doing here. You will see a cultural shock. If you're in Nigeria, you go and work Canada, you see certain things they do. It's against your own culture. It's against your religion. But when you are there, don't let it shock you. Ready your mind. That's how it is. That's how they do it there. You have to accept it. Otherwise, it will shock you that you not be productive. Uh, in another culture, you see that in their own, a father can marry his daughter. Will it not shock you? In Nigeria, we don't do that one. That's what you mean. Cultural shock. Their culture will shock you because it's not part of it. So when you see in your team, what do? How do you adapt? How do you help the team to adapt? Then you create a psychological safety. I'm in Nigeria, I'm working in Canada. I'm gonna make sure that they create an environment for me. Because psychological safety means that there's a way people discriminate you, you hate yourself. Even they are paying you $3 million there, you will not be able to feel yourself comfortable there. So and you are in that team. This thing will affect you psychologically. Uh, and embrace diversity. So a psychological safety is a psychosocial condition required for high performing project team. So if you can remove this one, psychology whereby I see that I'm being discriminated against, even if you are paying me well, I will not feel comfortable. It will affect my productivity. So a team member should be comfortable being themselves at work. Healthy work setting, embrace and diversity, and build a trust, are built on trust and mutual respect. Don't look at my color. You respect me with being who I am. Ensure ethical decision making. Make sure that everybody work according to integrity. Then another thing you can use in this area, we are talking about what we are talking about here. Don't forget when you are empowering your team. One of the ways you can empower your team is to look at this motivation. Have you ever been motivated before? So that's what you want to learn here. Just simply how do you motivate? You need to motivate your staff to be more productive, to be highly productive, to boost their productivity. There are some theorists who have provided some theory, like Maslow hierarchy of needs, Heisenberg motivational hygiene theory, McGregor theory X and Y, Mark Cleland achievement motivation theory. All this theory, it is your duty to know it, how to apply it when you are managing your team. What they are here. Everybody know about Maslow hierarchy of needs. That when your need has not been met, there's nothing you can do. You cannot be productive. Now telling them about different ways you can motivate. How you meet the psychological needs of your team member. Safety. Safety can be the one we have talked about before. Psychological safety, discrimination about where you are working. It can also be a physical safety. The environment you are working is not safe for you. You are working in a place whereby if a fire occur, there's no fire extinguisher, fire alarm, fire smoke detector. There's no way escape route if the fire occur. If I work in that place, my mind will not be at rest. I will not be more productive. I will think if fire occur, how will I? You'll be looking at the door every time. I'm just giving you an example now. I'm giving you an example. You have a belonging, the group that you belong to, people appreciate you, people accept you. You understand me? All those things is an motivation. You are working in a team, they recognize you, they accept you, they love you. Uh-uh. Esteem, they give you high esteem. You belong to a team. I mean, I belong to this team. I'm proud of this team. They are proud of me. Highly esteem. They say then self-actualization. When you enter into a team, you may enter as like a pauper. But as you are growing the team, you are able to reach achieve your own goal. So these are the kind of motivation you should give to your team member. It's very important for your exam. And exam, they want to know who provided this kind of a motivation. This is a Maslow hierarchy of need that say one psychological need. Psychological need may mean what? Water, food, accommodation is available to do assignment. You eat very well, you are able to feed yourself, able to clothe yourself, do assignment. Safety can be psychological safety, it could be environmental safety. The area you are working is safe for you. Don't lose your life because you are working. Another one say X-back motivation hygiene theory. This one is talking about two factor of the motivation. He say hygiene factor and motivator. One of the way you can motivate your staff is to maybe you want to increase the salary or maintain a good work environment. Another one is motivators. He say advancement, recognition, engagement. Two of them are good though, but this one is better than the other one. I can increase your salary, but your salary will not still your salary. I can increase your salary, but that salary, because I increase your salary, your taste will be high. In long run, that salary will not reach you again. You are living at Ajegule before. I increase your salary. Now say, let me go and live at Ikoyi now. That's a human being for you. I want better thing for ourselves. But advancement, like I recognize you, I send you abroad to go and do training for 1 year. In part of it, I give you all this opportunity to advance in your life, career, objective, goal. I recognize you when you do better thing for the organization. Give award. I engage you. These are the motivators. He said there are two types here under this Asberg motivation. He said there are two types, but this one is better. And that's why they wait. This one give you. People respond to this one more than this one. You can increase my salary. Oh. Yoruba people say their mouth don wide. You are giving me salary of 200,000. You now reach to 400,000. After some time, that 200,000, 400,000, you still be like a 200,000 because my mouth don wide. In local balance. E don wide. Salary does not necessarily motivate you. E can still bring you back to the same position. But when I get advancement, you train me, you provide everything for me to grow in my career in your organization. I enter that organization like a pauper. By the time I will be finishing, my life have changed. Those are the motivation, recognition, engagement. Engage me, promote me. Another one is called McGregor theory of X and Y. This one is talking about, if you look at it, say he created two theory. You have to know this thing in the exam. They can create a exam around this kind of a motivational theory. This person say McGregor's theory X and Y. What is he saying? He's saying that he created theory Y, X and theory Y. The theory X mean what? Authoritarian. Theory Y mean participative. He said that workers dislike and avoid work. People avoid in people avoid increased responsibility. People need to be directed. That's his own way of motivating them to work. He believe that if people dislike work, they just want to they will counting date, day one, day two. At the end of the month, they want to come and collect their salary. They don't want to give it people don't want responsibility. They want something that can they want to work an easier way. They must be directed. That's why you see some organization. You before you sign before you come to the when you want to enter into the facility of organization, you need to sign in. They want to know when you sign in, when you sign out. They are directing you, they are motivating, they are watching you. They believe that that's the way you can work. But theory Y is participative, is democratic. You say people want to be active. Yes, some people want to work. Workers seek job satisfaction. Some worker seek job satisfaction. They don't need to be they don't need to be directed. They are self motivated because you have provided environment for them to work. They are inspired. They are self motivated. You don't need to put them here, put them here. How do you do it? Make them to be participative. Make them to participate when you are making decision. Call them in. All your team member, when you want to make decision, don't make a decision that the Lord is over them. Ask everybody to contribute. You contribute. No matter the small contribution, you must contribute. Our contribution now will now form the whole decision making. That's how you motivate some people. When I'm in a team member, they don't seek my opinion. They don't make one decision like that one. I have to follow by force. That's what they call theory Theory X, authoritarian. Theory Y is what? Participative. I don't lord it over you. I give you right to make decision. I give you right to participate. I give you right. All that one enough is motivation. If the company want to make any decision, he call everybody. Everybody is involved. Everybody understand. You can see. Another one is called McClellan Achievement Motivation Theory. This one is saying that an individual needs are shaped by experiences in three areas: by achievement, by affiliation, and power. But one is more dominant. One is more dominant. You are affiliated to a club. You have power there. Then you have achievement. So this achievement is one that make you to be motivated. So you read this by yourself. So they are clear. Please, please, I'm in a training. Please call me back. I'm in a training. Call me. I'm in a training. Call me back. Then you uphold team charter. Another thing, your team member, you have a charter and grand rules. It's clear. Charter is what? The rules that's going to guide you, the rule that's going to guide your team. Every team must have rules that guide them. Otherwise, everybody will just be behaving anyhow they want to behave. So that charter, inside it, you write your ground rules. So you must uphold the team charter and ground rules. Otherwise, if you don't have a good charter and ground rules, you see one of your team members will just strolling and walking. They're supposed to resume at the site by 7 a.m. They will just stroll in at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. But there's a rule that you have to start every day by 7 a.m. If anybody violate that rules, no, it's not the part of it. So what are the checklists under the ground rules? Are these rules visible? When you make a rule to people, everybody must know about the rule. It must be open. Everybody must know the implication of that rule. You must be aware of it. It must be written somewhere whereby everybody can go and look at it. So that I say, I don't know that, I don't know. You must know because the rules is visible. This is your team setting. This is your team. It must be well formulated. Do any rules need updating because of changing circumstances? There's some rule that's under your team charter that events that make it to be what? Not useful. How do you update it so that it will not affect your team negatively? A new team member inducted properly. Your team member, if you want to induct them in a team, how do you induct them? There's a way when a new member comes to your organization, they take them around the whole department to familiarize them with this is toilet, this is safety area, this is water, this is all these things. They familiarize you, they induct you, people who know you. Nobody will challenge you when you are coming the next day and say, who are you? Huh. These are the things that will help you. Team goes through the forming stages after any change. Remember that we talk about forming, norming. It's a team goes through forming stage after any change has been made in that team. Well, as the ground rule be violated or broken, these are the checklists or the saying that when you say we are upholding the team ground charter and ground rule. As a ground rule being violated or broken, ensure that the appropriate response remind about the mutual agreement. That is the team. Coach the team member is part of the ground rules. Sometimes I need to coach you because I find that your skill in area is not too active. Your skill in that area is poor. I can take time because I'm a project manager. I'm a team lead. I'm a leader. It's my duty to coach you to increase your efficiency, to increase your capability, to increase your skill. You use servant leadership. Everybody in this course, I think you should know what they call servant leadership now. Save ash disciplinary action for severe violation. It's not everything you penalize your team member. You are giving him first question, second question, third question. So save ash disciplinary action for severe violation. Maybe you say that you don't fight in the side. You don't steal something, company property. That's a severe one. Or you injure somebody in ten tionally. So you have to, those are the things you can say, okay, you can do harsh discipline. So very important. Then remember, you are managing your team. There's a different, another way you can motivate your team is reward and recognition. What are reward? Here he's trying to tell us the difference between reward and recognition. Look at reward. He said reward, whenever you are rewarding your team member or anybody who's performed excellently, efficiently, effectively in the assignment you give to the person, the reward should be tangible, consumable item. That's a reward for a specific outcome or achievement used to motivate toward a specific outcome, or never reward without recognition. All these things, if you understand this in exam, it will be easier for you to see the answer. He said never reward without recognition. Reward goes with, if I recognize you, I reward you. But let's look at recognition. What does it mean? To differentiate it. Recognition can be intangible. Handshake. That is President Obasanjo method. No matter what you do in his regime, you just well done and handshake you, give you one small plaque. Or experiential event. Acknowledge person behavior rather than an outcome. That's recognition. Use used to increase recipient feeling of appreciation, recognition, can be given without a reward. But this one can be intangible, but it still motivates. Now, look at it, something here now, limitation. Say be transparent and judicious when using reward and recognition. Why? Why is it like that one? Because if you don't know how to judiciously and transparently make use of it, reward and recognition, it can lead to rivalry, competition, whereby people will now be they'll be scrambling. I want to do this, I want to do that. They'll be doing it in a competitive way. And there's a negative competition. It's going to affect your project work. Another one is that there are some um, country or some geography or country whereby you don't reward or recognize only a single person inside a team. They believe that a team consists of many members. So if you want to recognize or reward, the whole team must be rewarded or recognized. If you are now a project manager in such an environment, if you go and say, oh, because of my background, I don't know about the way the people recognize and reward. You go and reward only a single member. That one can destroy the other people. But to in their own environment, reward and recognition means that the whole team member does the work, and therefore when you are going to reward us, recognize us, no matter whatever a single person has produced, we have produced it. Therefore everybody must be rewarded and recognized together. That's an in some climb, that's what obtainable. So I now give you warning. There are two things here now. It can lead to unnecessary rivalry. Number two, it can lead that when you reward a single person in a group, other people will be jealous of that person, and it can damage your team. Other people will be discouraged. They will not do again, and it can affect your productivity. Very important. Then decision making is part of the empowerment. You know what they call decision? Ehen. Your team charter identify decision making and conflict resolution criteria. So therefore, team establish their own norms or way of working for making decision and conflict resolution. This is what I've been talking since morning. You allow the team member to make decision by themselves. You only facilitate them. You are not doing the work, they are the one doing the work. So you gather them, you arrange them, help them, throw question to them that make them to think deeply. Among themselves, they will provide solution to that problem. Team always try to achieve consensus opinion. When I say consensus opinion, when I say consensus, you know what I mean? Everybody must agree together, no matter how. Mhm. So the decision making continuation mean opportunity to empower the team. You also need to empower the team. What are the activities to empower the team? Can I say activities? Clarify and prioritize requirement or user story. This one is more obtainable when you are doing using adaptive or change driven. Whenever you are building application or you are building a product, Your team member are working together. Your team member are working together. They are working on a user story because you have to gather requirement from the stakeholder. Is the requirement is what you are going to use to create a product. So that means there are many requirements, but you must prioritize the requirement or user story that is relevant to the work they want to do, that they want to satisfy early the user. You have to split the requirement into tasks. When you collect a user story or requirement, break it. There are some requirements that are so big. Break them into tasks. Divide it among the team member. Then by breaking into small, small tasks, you can estimate based on estimate effort, the effort that the team member are going to use on that story or the requirement. You should be able to look at the risk. These are the decision making process. What are the risks? How to classify risk? How do you respond to risk? And the action you're going to take to respond to the risk. So these are decisions you are making. So your team member will know these are the risk classification. How do you respond to risk? So when the risk is about to occur, they know how to respond. So your team member should be able to make decision too. Decision can take a different way. It can be voting. You want to make decision. Let us all vote. We vote. Okay, who want us to paint this wall black or green? Or this wall, we want to use automate it. We want to use automatic machine to print the wall. Who agree? Want to use manual? Who agree? That is voting. You are making decision. You can also do what they call multi-criteria decision. You are going to use many criteria to decide what action, how the decision will go. You can also be autocratic decision making. It depends on the kind of project you are doing. That means the leader I say this is what I want us to do. Nobody can challenge your opinion or decision. So, but I believe that autocratic decision making process is not a way of leading your team member because some of them will be satisfied. They have one opinion to voice out, but you don't allow them. It could be unanimous. It could be majority decision making. It could be plurality, plural. It could be, and that's why you see this icon here now. In agile or in adaptive, all these things you are seeing here, they are they are traditional method of doing it. Their own, if they want to make decision, they want to reach a consensus opinion. Consensus, they say fist of five. They will now put their hand up five. If you agree, let me see your five hand up. They use planning poker. You need to read more of this one here. Planning poker. They give you a card. You know, you use card. Inside a card, you have a poker. That card has number. They say put it down. I say put that. They will distribute card among the team member. The team member will now turn the card upside down. They now ask us say, if you know this project we are doing, what we are building a car. You say okay, the interior decoration of this car. We want to use leather. I want to use maybe some materials that of high quality or something like that. They now give you a card. So they now say if you agree that we should use this material, that's your card has number. So if the card has 1 2 3 4 5, if you put 5 up, you show 5. That means you totally agree. If somebody else put 2, they will ask you, why do you choose 5? Why do you choose 2? Why do you choose 1 in that card? That card is number 1 2 3 4 5. That what I mean planning poker. They will do that thing over and over until everybody agree, maybe 4. You can be dot voting. These are the method of making decision in under the iterative or change driven. You can use dot voting. You can put dot 1, dot 2, dot 3. If the number of dots has carry majority, they will follow that. They will make that decision. It can be Roman voting, thumbs. You know when they say thumb up. It can be polling. Do a poll. That one is common. Poll can be that they give you a card. They you go and, with that poll, you go and put it in a box. They will count how many one that How many want us to paint it in black? How many of us want us to paint it in green? How many of us want us to paint it in white? The highest number. So this is how you do it under the iterative. But the other one, the left hand there, the one you are saying anonymity, majority, this is what you do. This is the name they call it. They are the same thing, but they call it different names. So when you see fist of five, planning poker, which at least you must know the meaning of planning poker, dot voting. You should know that whether you are talking about waterfall or you are just talking about change driven. Another thing is what?
Alaikum salam.
Eh? Are you saying something? Now,
No, no, go ahead, please.
now look at this. You said display tax accountability. Remember, we are talking about RACI before. Everybody remember. We're talking about RACI. When you say who is accountable, remember this thing. Who is accountable? Who can help me to see? Is here. He said keep work and progress visible to demonstrate transparency of work completed. You can use WBS dictionary. Remember, I talked about WBS dictionary. If I give you assignment to do, I will give you all the necessary thing. I will document it there. This door, you are going to fix the door on the first floor. The dictionary will define the kind of work we are going to do. The door, the dimension of the door, when you are fixing it, the color you are going to paint it, the nature of the door, who is doing it, how it must be done, how do you cost it. They will describe it in a document called WBA dictionary so that you do the right thing. Who is going to do it? When must you start it? When must you finish it? What are you doing there? You making the work I assign to you. You are accountable to it and make it clear to you so that you don't do the wrong thing because you want to follow the baseline. I want to say WBA dictionary, project statement of work, and WBX is a what do we call it? What do we call that one? Scope baseline. So WBA dictionary and work package, the description, document, tax, and the assignee. So who assign it to? Who is doing the tax? How it must be done? We can also use RACI chart. I mean what? Responsible, accountable, abi? That one we what? Who is to be consulted? I mean what? Who can tell us I? Responsibility, accountability, consulted, and what? I will leave it for you. This is another way you can make the work to be more feasible. You are leading a team member. You want to know this work I assign, who is responsible, who is accountable, who is all those. Can you see? You make it visible to everybody. Nobody can complain. Everybody know what to do at any point in time. Encourage team member to self-organize. I've been talking about this one. And continuously organize continuously in determining accountability standard. And this is a Kanban board. Remember we talked about before. To do the buffer. What are we doing now? What have you done? Which one have been reviewed? You have done something, you have not reviewed it, you have not completed it now. It's like when you have a project, you design you want to design application, you design it, then you build it, then you test it, you review it before you deploy it. So everybody know what is going on. You can see this is what we have covered here. You support diversity and inclusion, behavioral type, thought and processes. You inspire, motivate and influence team member and stakeholder. Your team contracts, social contract, reward system, we talk about it here. You determine and bestow level of decision making. How do you make decision? Consensus opinion. You empower the team member and stakeholder to make decision by themselves. You can see. So these are the things you'll be doing when you are leading a team member. Then another one you need to know here is what? Support team member performance. Your team member, when they are doing the work, it is the performance level that will lead to the productivity or to boost their productivity. Can you see? How do you support their performance? So that's why you need to look at this one critically. He say you manage and lead. There's what they call management by objective and management by servanthood, or leading by call it servant leadership. So when you are looking at the two, most of the time when you are doing your traditional project management like a waterfall, this is what you are doing. Management by objectives. You set an objectives and you ask the people to go and meet that objective. Use clear objective to guide productivity and encourage aspiration. Set objective collaboratively within the team member. Create challenging and yet attainable objective. At the start of a project or at a phase, you set target for them. They work toward that target. Throughout the project life cycle as an iteration planning section. Although you also do this one also in a adaptive way. But in you are using like a agile, you are using agile methodology, and you are a leader in that team, a team leader, like you call it a scrum master. A scrum master has this characteristic. Is a servant leader. He does it by what? Using these three steps. He defined the vision of the project for everybody. He will now align every person to that vision. Align everybody to that vision. Everybody must be aware of that vision. See, this is why servant leadership comes in. It doesn't just order you. Despite the fact that you are a team member, you are being paid, it will find a way of motivating you to achieve that vision. Motivate people to pursue the vision. It doesn't lord it over you. You find a way to encourage you, motivate you, support you, create an environment for you to work. You understand me? Remove impediment, help you to carry food, inspire you. That is it. Then you also need to assess the team member performance. Assess the team member performance to do what? To identify the strength, weakness, aspiration, and preference. To discover opportunity for improvement. That's what we are doing here. You see, every team member has, everybody know what we call SWOT analysis. It's a tool you can use to assess your team member performance. You want to look at your team member. Do you understand me? What is their strength? What is their weaknesses? What is their aspiration? What is their preference? Where do they like to work well? Sometimes you need to remove a team member from one area of the work and put him in an area where he like to work. It will increase his productivity and it will boost productivity. After you have assessed that this guy is a painter, but it's like he doesn't know how to use machine. You know, there's some machine you can use to paint. The tools you pour the paint inside that tools. You can spray it and be spraying on the wall. There's some one you are going to use your brush mechanically. It's discovered this man cannot use brush method. He can automate by using that machine. That's his preference. That's where he's good. You remove that person from that person, you have assessed him that he cannot use that machine. That's what you mean you're assessing your team member. There are two options, but this guy can automate it and do it better than use manual brush and dipping brush inside paint. That's your work to do. You discover opportunity for improvement. You help them to improve. So now look at the two here. When it's when it is 1 o'clock, we stop again. Then that's the second stop. After that one, we now conclude. You conclude the other one. It's not much again. Now you look at the do icon here now. Look at this icon. This icon is talking what? It's a use formal and informal assessment method. That's what we use in waterfall. Conduct assessment when a team member join and then monitor progress. But when you look at the adaptive change driven, your team member, see, they are self-organized, agile team in psychologically safe environment, assesses and regulate their own performance. That's why I say you don't lord it over there. They know what to do, how to do it. They organize themselves by themselves. They know what to do, how to do it, when to do it. You don't even need to push them to do it. That's what they call it agile mindset. They have gone for the training. Their mindset is that they are working in an environment whereby nobody motivate them. They've agreed. It has been instilled in their mind based on what they are doing that this is what we are going to do. You don't need to be pushed. That's why I say before an organization start using agile, it's not something that they just push people to do. It's a mindset that must be adopted that everybody follow the in total. So therefore they will do the work out of thing they know that is okay by them, and they want to do it right and do it better and achieve better and succeed together or fail together. The focus is the team rather than the individual. The team member are self-organized, they are cross-functional, they are self-disciplined, they know what to do. You don't need to push them, they are self-motivated. Can you see? So that's another we can assess them. In the adaptive, they are self-organized. So assessment is not, you don't even need to assess them further because they are using agile mindset. Performance assessment tasks. There are some tasks you can use to assess your team. Go compare performance to goal. You set a goal for them. You look at their performance. You want to you want to create, you want to build 30 kilometers of road. 30 kilometers is the objective and goal. You want to know how far they have gone within a period of time. Whether it's going to take about 20 days to do it. You want to know the second day how much of the road has been constructed. That's what I mean. Out of the 20 kilometers of road, you compare their performance. You will know whether they are slower or they are faster or they are ahead of the schedule or behind the schedule. You will also know when they are spending on that activity, whether they are on track or not on track, whether they are is over budget, under budget, on budget. So you have to assess their performance assessment tasks. You reclassify, clarify roles and responsibility. Each of your team member, you give them, they have roles and responsibility. Make sure that the person you are assigned to do a part of the work, maybe you are a painter or you are you are the one that build a particular thing in your project, to know that that person is doing what's supposed to do and doing it right. Make sure that they deliver positive as well as negative feedback. There must be a feedback mechanism in your project, whether negative or positive about the circumstances and environment of the project. There must be a continuous feedback to assess whether things are done well. Because don't say, it's only negative and positive feedback I will need. Negative feedback will help you to be awake and know what you are doing, and so that you know that if you are following the wrong track, it helps you to make the right decision. Discover unknown and unresolved issue. That's part of it. In a team setting, there may be issue that are not known or unresolved. By through the task, you can assess their performance through that task. You can create and monitor individual training plan. In fact, when you discover that the task you give to them, they are not doing very well, it suggests to you that these people need improvement. They need to be trained. They need to be mentored. They need to be establish future goals. Because it's not only this project you are doing, or your goal is to complete a 20 kilometers of road within 10 days. Are you sure that within that 10 days you can accomplish that? These are the things you are doing here. Then you can also use personality indicator. I don't know whether anybody has known about personality indicator. You can use it. Have you ever gone online? There's a site they will help you to indicate your personality. It will tell you whether you are an introvert, extrovert. It will tell you the kind of job you can do. It will ask you a lot of questions. A lot of questions. You go to the site. The site will now ask you question. Based on your responses, they will now tell you